Hi, guys, and welcome to the Gin and Tonic Show. We help Muslims and non Muslims to handle Islam in the 21st century. My name is Mustafa, and this is my co host in the nick of time. If you wish to talk about Islam, the ideology, you have come to the right place. We cover current Islamic news, Islamic scripture, some crazy comments, and a weekly topic about Islam to examine, critique, and analyze. If this is not enough Islam for you, please drop by our Discord to discuss any further questions about Islam. We condemn any form of discrimination, violence, misogyny, slavery. However, we do embrace free speech and criticism if it's factual and correct. Thank you for stopping by and enjoy the Gin and Tonic Show.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Nikhil. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Well, I'm just having a sip of my tea. It's 4 p.m. Canadian time, 9 p.m. UK time. So we have an exciting episode for you today. So we're going to discuss a lot of things. I think Nikhil and I had some adventures in the internet, and we're feeling that we have to share our story, our adventures on the internet. Well, it's not exactly an adventure, more like what we found.
Yeah, no, I got some images here. Why don't we start with them, right? So it's our crazy comments. We can get the jingle going.
Yes. Oh boy, yeah. I love that jingle. So let's see the first comment, please.
All right. So these are a bunch of memes that I have.
Okay. Yeah, I think, oh yes, this is the one you sent me. And again, we'll do some Jesus ones as well, because we've been encountering them too many. Struggling with addiction and the addiction to masturbation, reach out to me and we will beat it together. Oh boy, there was a lot of biblical memes that came out. Okay, hang on, let me see. The Holy Bible, 66 fairy tales written by 40 authors in 3 different languages on 3 different continents over approximately 1600 years. Well, that's actually accurate. It's fairly accurate. This is relatively accurate. Oh yeah, what is up with the Jesus memes? All right, Jesus, get up, bro. They're shooting kids up at school. Tell them I'm working in mysterious ways, yo. All right, let's see. Let me just... Oh, yes, I sent you this one. Sahih al-Bukhari, 2658. Prophet Muhammad said, "Isn't the witness of a woman equal to half that of a man?" The women said, "Yes." He said, "This is because of the deficiency of a woman's mind." All right. Oh yes, this is one of my favorite one. Dog. Unconditional love worships you forever, regardless of what you believe. God. Conditional love. Worship him forever, or he'll send you to hell. This is why I prefer dogs. Oh, the apocalypse one. Show me the apocalypse one.
Which one is it?
It's the one where the butterfly meme.
So,
this one, yeah. Any conflict, the religious. Look, an apocalypse. And then there's the one with the next to the dog one, right next to this one. This one's my favorite. I love this one. And he's like laughing at the TV, this guy. Ha ha ha, stupid infidels who worship stones. Kisses a stone, runs around a stone, stands out on a stone, stoning a stones in the Hajj ritual. And then right next to this one, no, yeah, there we go. Yeah, remember these memes sent to you. All right, let's expand on this. Doctor, he's the madman who claims to have ascended to heaven on the back of a winged mule. And then the psychiatrist is like, poor thing. Put him in the dangerous section with the one who claims to have seen God in Sinai, with the third who insists that his mother's a virgin, with the fourth that talks with ants and birds, with the fifth, go down, go. Damn it, I haven't finished. With the fifth who tried to slaughter his son with a knife. And it's like, if prophets lived in our time. And right next to that one, this one. Yeah, so This is also from ex-Muslims.org. Ex-Muslims.org has given me some spicy memes. The price paid for a dog, the price paid for a fortune teller, and the earnings of a prostitute are not lawful. Prophet Muhammad, Sunnah Abu Dawud. And I love the tarot cards too, just laid out as well. But it's like, how's a dog, fortune telling, and prostitution the same thing? It's weird.
Well, the commonality about them is no one should give a shit if you're into them or not.
Yeah. And then there's also the nose one. Okay, wait. There's
Well, I was gonna bring this up as well. Oh,
yes.
This.
This is our favorite. I think we shared this last week. So this is Allah Loves Equality. So this is amazing.
Yeah.
We
got some amazing memes that I think we have a long list of as well.
Yeah. The reason there's no woman imam. No. Go to the reason. Go back. Nigga, what are you doing? Okay, yeah. Let's do this one. Which does it? Muhammad taught that Satan stays in the upper part of your nose at night when you awake, and wash him out. What are we, his toilet or his bedroom? Like, why would he live in a nose? Actually, go. Oh yeah, this one was really funny. Masturbating men who find their hands pregnant, and then just right on the left. No, on the left. There we go. Reason there's no woman imam, and it's everybody checking out her behind.
That's haram.
Yeah, but you see, that's why there's no, And this one's a funny one. Mom, why do you wear the hijab? Because it's my choice, sweetie. What happens if we don't want it anymore? First, your daddy will kick me in the gut. My family will disown me, and my friends will talk shit about me. After I die, Allah will burn me in hell. Alif Lam Meme. I love how it's called Alif Lam Meme. Also, the math one. Go to the math one. The math one's right next to the nose one. There we go. So this one's a good one. Inheritance laws. Then if no one has no sons at 411. Wife 1/8. Daughters 2/3. Dad 1/6. Mom 1/6. Total 1 whole 1/8. Math is hard for Allah. I love this one. And then right next to this one, next to the... Yeah, that's okay. So it's like the difference between an average preacher and an extreme sheikh. So the average preacher, he's preaching like, burqa, killing, bombing, violence and all that stuff. He's doing it with a laptop, and he's like got a suit and everything. And the extremist sheikh is just preaching the same thing with just the angry face. One's doing it with, and he's using the Quran. One's doing it with a smiley face. The other is doing it with the angry face. And I think this is...
So yeah, then I think for now, like right now, another topic I want to bring up is
Can you hear
this
me?
one. Yeah, so I want to get your opinion on this.
Hang on. 1 second. Sorry, 1 second. I'm just gonna mute my mic because there's an issue with the earphones. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So let's see what Ridwan said. Sorry about the. According to...
So this is a poll that he had.
Authentic Muslim poets once said that the devil came to disturb him during his night prayer, and he was... Wait, what? He wrestled the devil. He wanted to tie the devil up and show it to his followers, but then he conveniently let it go so nobody saw it. Do you believe him? Yes, no, laugh emoji. I would immediately say no. I believe
him. I don't want him to burn me in hell.
But yeah, I think that's oh yeah, this one we have to address.
Yeah, so this is the main one that I want to do for today.
Yeah. So apparently there's this whole like abortion debate, right? So we have the Muslim skeptic, aka Hakikachu. So the American Muslim community leadership, AI, that is sellouts, have come to en masse to announce guns, cry for gun because, oh, the children. Where were they a few weeks ago on Joe raid on an abortion? Do these children not matter? I don't see any of these fools on talking about the nuance of weapons ownership in Islam. In reality, there is far less ikhtilaf on the issue of weapons than the ikhtilaf on abortion. But the Islamic position on weapons is contrary to left-wing politics, so you're not going to hear about it from the ever so compassionate ones. By the way, if you use the line, we live in a secular, we cannot impose Islam in a secular nation. When it came to the issue of abortion and LGBT, you better not be grandstanding about guns and children. As a Muslim, you don't impose your bizarre contortions of Islamic. What is he trying to say? What is he even trying to say? It's like, so does Islam allow abortion? Like, is he trying to make that claim? Because apparently, and let me share my screen actually. So there was what do you call it? There's something about the Islamic debate on abortion, which actually is very interesting that I found. Very interesting. So there's the abortion debate, and this is an article by what do you call it? Dr. Omar Soleiman, president, founding CEO of this website. All right, so he practically starts off with: Is Islam pro-life, pro-choice, or both? Depending on the circumstances and what the implications are. So there's nothing, no mention of it in the Quran, that is. So the sanctity of life in Islam, similar to all, the Quran unequivocally sanctifies human life. Killing any, of course, irrespective of age, is condemned in the firmest line. No, it's not. And do not kill the soul that is forbidden to be killed, except in the course of it does allow people to kill. One famous is the very first matter decided on the Day of Judgment, the cases of bloodshed. Not relevant because it's abortion. Having children and prayed for their right is viewed as an act of worship. This is expressed in numerous Quranic verses. My Lord, grant me offspring from among the righteous, as-Safat. Well, that's Zachariah saying it, It's like Surah Maryam, my Lord, indeed my bones are weakened. I fear the successors after me. It's just stating the story. It's not just like, commanding you to have children. Moreover,
but yeah, they don't have a certain amount of days before it becomes?
Yeah. What? So apparently, I think there's the 120-day limit, that is, according to Islamic jurists. So contraception, although it's based on the abolish infanticide and encourage, even though this one's like a little flimsy, the abolish infanticide, encourage people to embrace the mission of producing righteous offspring. Islam recognizes that obliging everybody to bear children while disregarding their respective. It is impractical. Islam teaches that childbearing for those who are capable of its blessing, but also recognizing the circumstances, may not always allow it. In classical books of Islamic truth, such as the capability of woman's health to sustain a pregnancy or a man living away from his wife for enough, are discussed thoroughly in the framing of this discussion. The vast majority of jurists hold that temporarily putting off childbearing is permissible, but not as a social ideal which overrides the default encouragement to have children. So it is encouraged to have children. So, you can just hold off of childbearing, okay? The permissive azl is contingent upon certain conditions, but most stressed is the agreement of the spouses, since is an expectation of a marriage and a right that a husband and wife are equally entitled. Traditionally, scholars also argued that mutual agreement is necessary because sexual gratification is another shared entitlement. And this one there. Okay, let's get to the abortion part, because whenever intervention.
It's a whole bunch of women.
Yeah. So this is precious. Yeah, Muslims. There is a general view that the womb is viewed as a precious life in Muslim circles. That carries a unique human soul, deserves safeguarding and careful treatment. Of course, it's pro-life in that aspect. And that is, the Quran states, and it is not lawful for them to conceal what Allah has created in their wombs if they believe in Allah and the last day. So chapter 2, verse 228. For the womb is sacred and are the bonds. In a Qudsi hadith, I'm Allah and I'm Ar-Rahman, the most I am created the Rahim. So whoever is connected with it, I will connect with them to my mercy, and whoever severs it, I will disconnect from him my mercy. However, similar to the current semantic debate in the United States, viewers have long debated when exactly the red line should be drawn. So even this is a debatable issue. As a whole, it begins when life begins in the following paragraphs. So 120 days, yes. So it's 120 days from conception is the cutoff point. So 120 days.
But Moose, I have a question.
Yeah.
I genuinely have an honest question here. If God is too busy dealing with like creating the world and the universe and everything, why does God worry about what a 16-year-old teenager does with her
I
own
don't
body?
know. I don't know. Oh, hello, Stops. Hello. I think he's arrived here.
I just snuck in through the back door.
Yeah, I heard the little sneak in the door. It's like the boop, but instead it was like the creak, and then just quietly you shutting the door. So I did hear
the creaking that you heard. That was my old bones.
Oh, don't worry. You're not that old. You're still full of life. You're still full of life, Stops. Right. So you're still, but yeah, we were just discussing this, the abortion in Islam. So 120 days from conception is the unanimous agree that this ensoulment has taken place. So this is the unanimous agreement between the scholars of the 120 days from conception. And this is based on a tradition which Muhammad mentions the angel breathes the soul into the fetus by 120 days. So it takes the angel 120 days to breathe a soul in it.
But for an angel that helps create the entire universe, why does it take 120 days?
Yeah, I know, right? Didn't it do it from the start? That's so weird. 120 days.
But it's amazing because I think this is the 40-40-40 story,
Yeah.
which somehow has, I don't know, enshrined itself into this. Because I've never heard of this abortion rule of 120 days. That's like middle of second trimester. That's like halfway through already.
Yeah. And
yeah.
And it's further adds that however Muslim scholars do not necessarily equate ensoulment with the completion of embryogenesis or takhalluk. Some scholars, such as 13th century Ibn Zamlakani, I'm probably butchering that, maintain that embryo is almost completed, according to the prophetic traditions, by the 40th or 42nd day of conception. So there's differing views. And then there's 54 to 56 days of gestational age. The soul then descends in a body ready to receive it, just as it departs from it. So the body has to be ready for the soul to come inside the body. That's their belief. And then we made the sperm. Oh, the sperm one, the Surah Al-Mu'minun. We made the cloth. This one. The clinging to the flesh. We covered the bones with the flesh, and then we developed. So blessed Allah, creator, the best of creators. So the Arabic article thumma, which refers to succession with delay, is used in the above verses to separate between the stages of embryogenesis and the development into another creation. This is reported by Ali bin Abu Talib, and widely referenced to the ensoulment phase. In addition, in the verse, the formation of the bones and their enclosure. Sorry, I'm just also there's a lot of words added to this. Aborting the pregnancy becomes categorically forbidden at this point, as the embryo is a now full sanctified human life. So they have to wait for a certain time. I'm guessing, Islamically speaking, this would be murder, unless a physician determines that continuing pregnancy would truly endanger the mother's life. Only in this case can the pregnancy be terminated after the 120 days. The logic behind this is agreed upon legal maxim in Islamic law. Certainty should not be overridden by doubt. A potential life, that of an infant, should not threaten the stable life, that of a mother. Interesting. Although both are technically alive, the survival of the mother takes precedence because her life is evidently established. Well, yeah, she's the baby factory, while survival of the fetus within her is relatively more doubtful. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, I mean, this is kind of sensible, actually.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, Moose.
Hmm. You were
Uh,
saying?
it's Omar Suleiman that wrote this, right? Daniel Hakikachu hates this guy.
True, yeah. Yeah, Daniel, this is the guy who's opposite of Daniel Hagikachu, yeah. Like, keep in mind, he's actually quoting, like, some of the madhabs.
Yeah.
So, and again, yeah, it's like, yeah, it kind of makes, I think he's also correct. It kind of makes sense to, medically speaking, to save the mother's life. Um, and between 40 to 120 days, the four mazhabs disagreed within their own ranks. And we will state the dominant position of each school. Interesting. So 40 to 120 days. And I think the your stops, you were mentioning the 40, 40, 40 thing. You were just mentioning that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Maliki traditionally were the strictest. They opposed any medical technique as a means of birth control, such as drinking medicine. Some even opposed to seeking to expel the semen after Wow. So the dominant position in the Hanafi was far more lenient. Well, Hanafi is generally in permitting abortion up till 120 days, not even allowing it without the husband's permission. So the husband's permission is necessary. Nowadays, many he didn't state the Hanbali. Okay, actually, yeah, there's the Hanbali permitting abortion until up to 40 days, and only up until when a pressing need is present, such as sorry for an extreme fetal deformity incompatible with life. So yeah, this is the Hanbali position, 40 and up to 120 days. And what's the Shafi position? During the first 40 days after the conception, the majority permitted abortion when the two spouses mutually agreed, especially for the clear, legitimate reasons such as rape and the physical inability to raise children or mental inability, just as with azl, coitus interruptus. Many of the scholars held that fear of poverty did not qualify as a justification. Interesting. The Malikis oppose this position altogether. Ibn Juzay, he says that once the womb contracts the semen, it becomes impermissible to intervene. So the Malikis so far are the strictest in this position. Worse than that is when the fetus has developed external features, and worse than that is the soul has been blown into it. And the last case would be killing a soul by agreement. So many contemporary scholars offer spiritual counsel to those considering the council largely falls in the capacity, encouragement. According to Dr. Hatim Al-Hajj, abortion in the first 40 of mutual agreement of both parents is permissible for a legitimate cause, such as a woman's fear of not having the capacity to raise the. Having said that, it's always preferable to avoid it. So the preference is to avoid it, of course. And if one relies on Allah's help, then that puts him trust on him. He will not let them down. That fetus may become their favorite child one day. Interesting.
But does the soul survive an abortion?
I don't know. The soul, does it even enter the body to begin with, according to this logic?
Well, isn't it at conception? Or is it after? No, it's after 40. No. It's after 42 days that the angel comes and then it's assigned a soul. I think that's what it was.
Yeah. So 42 days is the cutoff point where the soul, again, and it depends on the what do you call it? The jurisprudence.
Yeah.
Because with the Hanafi position is the most lenient so far in this. They haven't stated the Shafi position, which is very interesting in this article. I wonder what the Shafi position is, which we will cover, what do you call it? The Shafi position should be interesting. And I love P.O.'s comment here. Islam is not pro-choice, it's pro-surrender. Pro-surrender. Yeah.
And Moose. So I also have one more meme that we got to share for those.
All right. Let's share that meme. Sorry,
so
stop.
For those,
turn this into a comedy channel.
So for those who for those who are into Bollywood, you'll get this, and it's also dealing with current events.
Oh boy, the Johnny
Oh
Depp one.
no, come on.
Oh no, it's in Bollywood. Johnny Depp is
Who
like praying,
cares?
and then Amber Heard, and oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, because this I saw this on one of Ali Dava's tweets.
really? Ali
It has
Dava
come
tweeted this?
about Johnny Depp. It wasn't
Really?
Ali Dava's tweets, but this was a response. I forgot
Oh,
exactly
it was a
where.
response to one of his tweets. Okay.
Yeah,
It's like, since when did Ali Dava go watch Bollywood?
yeah. So I was watching one of Ali Dava's like tweets. I forgot where it was, but it
Yeah,
videos
yeah.
and tweets regarding the trial.
Dude, Ali Dava's the tweet is like a gold mine of comedy. You should be saving these.
Yeah, no, I saw this and I was like, holy shit, it's accurate because I actually watched the movie, but like his take on the entire trial was hilarious.
Yeah, no, Ali Dava is just this comedic thing. Speaking of which, we were gonna do a video reaction. You had a video that we wanted to look into.
Yeah, so I have a few videos here.
Yeah.
One is a music video, and the second is Hamza Yusuf and Jordan Peterson recently had a discussion. So it's a small clipping of why Hamza Yusuf took Islam.
Okay, so let's see what Hamza Yusuf and Jordan Peterson say. These are the two of my, oh boy, brain-numbingly favorite, because my brain
chose Islam. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, so this is his
add sulfuric acid to see how they react. Damn it, doorknob! Damn it! No, don't give me ideas. All right, let's go.
Why I chose Islam? I mean, I'm not completely convinced that I chose Islam. I mean, in some ways, Islam chose me as well.
Huh?
So,
wait, what? You converted to this? How the hell did you not choose this?
It's all the grace of Allah.
Oh, right. Allah chose this. Yeah. All right, let's keep going.
It's, guidance is a very strange thing for people. Like, I saw an inevitability. When I look back on what happened, I saw an inevitability of my embracing Islam. I had some very interesting experiences that could be termed mystical, or however you want to determine them. But the tradition itself, what struck me was, one, I got to keep all of the prophets that I believed in already, and I added, in addition, what we consider to be the final prophet. And just as very often Christians marvel at how Jews miss Jesus, Muslims also marvel at how Christians and Jews miss Muhammad. Although, to be fair to the Jews, they do acknowledge the prophet as a providential force. And
so I got a question. Then why do they fight each other if they're all prophets of each other?
Yeah, especially like with the Jewish tribe of Banu Qurayza, especially, and they actually held up an armed resistance against Muhammad in Medina. What do you call it? Then you had the conflict with the Banu Qurayza one is the most bloodiest conflict, because Muhammad ordered all the men and the young boys of the tribe to be slaughtered. So there was that, and then there was one of the Jewish rabbis. Only Ubay was the one exception of the Jewish rabbi scholar, but the others actually doubted Muhammad's teaching. They didn't acknowledge him. They actually doubted it. They actually saw him as a forger. So in the story, like even in Ibn Ishaq biography, Ibn Hisham's biography, they actually were resistant, if anything. So yeah, and Doorknob, you're correct. It's like the expansionist Pactus Christianity, which specialist passed to Judaism, pretty much, yeah. So if anything, like it added to, but yeah, it's like they didn't exactly acknowledge. They acknowledged that he came, but it's like there's the prophecies that Ibn Ishaq claims, but none of the Jewish writings ever claim this prophecy.
Did you show the crazy comment I sent you?
Which one? On Messenger?
why the Muslims are lamenting why their God has not given them the victory over the Jews.
Hang on, let me just open my Facebook.
Oh, and just before we move forward, hello Pio, hello Culture Jin.
Hello.
Hello, Pio.
Everybody.
Hello, Andrew. Hello, the cultured Ginny. How are you?
Hi guys.
Oh, I'm fine. How are you?
Wow, your voice sounds like you're talking from
You're
from a
talking
void in
from
a cave.
grave.
Wait,
Wow.
is my voice strange?
No,
It's not strange. It's just the echo. There's a bit of an echo, but
Not-
I
not
Oh,
echo.
it's
Oh,
coming from Pio. It's from Pio.
oh,
what?
is it?
No,
Yeah.
no, I have speakers or something on.
Oh,
so-
let me, Nick, briefly. There's this. Stops has sent me something. Let me share this briefly in the what do you
Right.
call it? A screen. Let me just share the screen. It's temporarily.
No, but then you're going to lose Yusuf.
I know.
I'll
You
play
want
it
to share it
again.
later? Or do you want to continue the video? I think let's continue the video and let's
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
the-
Because I was just wondering whether you did, because it shows the attitude that Muslims today have, that they are being denied the victory over the Jews.
yeah, that's the attitude. Even though they had victory for so long. But let's continue with Mr. Yusuf.
And they do acknowledge him as a Noahidic messenger preparing the way for the coming of the Messiah. So they do recognize that he was a providential force. At least the great, if you read George Kohler's book on Jewish theology, he has a chapter on Judaism and Islam. And certainly the great father of Orientalism, Ignaz Goldziher, he actually said that he felt that Islam was the only religion that somebody of a philosophical bent could actually accept. And he wanted to really bring in the gift of philosophy into Judaism that had been, that the Muslims had so richly participated in. In fact, there's an argument that just as Judaism prepared the way for Christianity, it was Islam that prepared the way for a philosophical Western Christendom. Because if you look at the transmission of all of that knowledge that comes into Europe, it's quite extraordinary.
Ooh.
I mean, St. Thomas Aquinas was 13th century.
Yeah, it's just like he's saying, or maybe I misunderstood. Didn't she just said that Islam prepared the way for Christianity, for the Western Christianity or something?
Yeah, that's what he said. That's exactly.
He's
Yeah.
more or less saying that
Yeah.
the Islamic science or rather philosophical traditions influenced Judaism and Christianity in their theological developments.
No, yeah, but it's completely whatever he means, right? Judaism exists before, and Christianity exists before Islam, so he cannot.
Yeah, but he actually does have a point in that. For example, Maimonides, there are actually some rather good arguments for that he was influenced by certain Islamic thinkers and kind of made his theology as kind of a counter theology, or that had taken some.
What do you mean by influence? Like they heard of them and they say, no, they are stupid and we don't believe in
No,
Islam?
that they
Or do you mean
they have
just philosophy, has nothing to do with Islam? Stuff which has nothing to do with Islam.
I mean, it does have, because it's in the same milieu about theological developments. And, if you are trying to develop your own philosophy based upon your religion, then you do sometimes have to take a look at what the opposition is saying from the other religions and adapt to it.
So if you mean like they saw the both religion looked at Islam and said, no, this is not real. And if you mean that, like this influence, or if you mean like the so-called golden era of Islam, where Islam was copying everything from everybody, and copying is the wrong word. Like they were going through every culture and translated all the scriptures into Islam, and then maybe they make their own conclusions. If you mean that, okay, but it still doesn't count as they would influence Western Christian or Jewish philosophy.
I mean, they did, because they did actually not just copy the ancient Greeks, for example. They did actually improve and change to some things and interpret things differently. And they did, and
No,
this,
they didn't.
they did.
There is nothing in the Quran or something. Or
Not in the Quran, but I mean, talking about later developments. I'm talking about how.
So you mean something outside of the Quran, like
Outside, yes, but it's still within an Islamic context and still within, the development.
No. There was a guy, I forgot his name, who said, who told the Muslims that no. After the Golden Age, right, where they were really trying and seeing and looking for knowledge and like reading other knowledgeable stuff, right? He said, no, forget about all this shit. You just need the Quran. So they stopped.
Did it really, this idea about that Islam suddenly stopped because, for example, some theologians said something, often we blame it on Al-Ghazali. That's actually kind of a myth. It's much more complicated than that. It has to do with
I don't think it was this name. I have to look it up, which guy I mean. But I'm for sure that at some point.
Are you talking about Ibn Taymiyyah by chance, Sheikh al-Islam?
Even Ibn Taymiyyah is actually a lot more complex than most people give him credit for. He was extreme in many regards, but he was also a lot more complex than what most.
I mean, yeah, he's the one who came up with the term Rawafid, which is rejectionist for Shia Muslims. That is.
Yes.
Paved the way for the Sunni Shia conflict.
Yeah, but that conflict already existed before. I mean,
I know the conflict existed. Don't get me wrong, the conflict existed. He kind of flamed the fires further. That is. So this is the kind of stuff. So I kind of, I wouldn't say he's complicated. Yes. He's just crazy.
He was one funny thing about Ibn Taymiyyah before we go on is actually that most people only remember him as this extreme Salafi, and most of his, let's call them fans today, would completely reject everything to do with Sufism, but because they cite Ibn Taymiyyah's rejection of certain Sufi practices, but they entirely forget that Ibn Taymiyyah was a mutasawwif. He was a Sufi.
Well, I know that. And the thing is, with Sufi history, it's not as peaceful or as not like, the hippie thing that
no
come across as. Like, it's not. That I am very well aware of it. There's an entire history of Sufism in the subcontinent. The thing with Sufism is that we kind of imagine it's like, these Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan singing and, that's Sufism. No, that's not Sufism. There's different orders and stuff. So, and Sufism, yeah.
Ibn Taymiyyah was a Qadri.
Yeah, he was a Qadri, and it's messed up how it kind of messes up. Sufism is actually I find it very deceptive and pretentious, to be honest with you. And I've even found the practice very deceptive because it poses as this we've always been peaceful, but in reality, it's no, not at all. Not at all.
Personally, I've always preferred to study fiqh or aqidah rather than Sufi practices.
Oh yeah, especially the fiqh is actually more clear because we have the layers of the Quran, the Hadith, tafsirs, as well as the different rulings from Hanafi, Shafi, Malik, etc.
You don't have this concept
the name of the guy what I meant was Hamid al-Ghazali.
Hamid al-Ghazali.
Al-Ghazali is not. Yes, he is often attributed to having caused the decline, but he is actually not responsible, and that's a myth that he is responsible.
So that's so. Okay,
No, I'm not Shia.
You Shia
or-
rejected. Red link stamped down. Get the Shia out of here. Yeah, that's
I'm not.
exactly what happened.
I'm not Shia. I'm not even Muslim.
Oh no! This is a comment that generally this is what rejectionist like. He's just making the joke, right? Like if if you happen to be Shia, for example, rejected, like it's the stamp on you.
Yeah.
Rejected.
Profit.
By the way, Waiso is here. We have been ignoring him for a while. Hi, Waiso. Waiso, you there?
Hello. Yeah, you're fine. Go ahead.
All right. So do you
Sorry,
have
I didn't even
Oh no, I know
that you were here either.
I knew there was another. Someone did come in from the creak of the door, and no, it was not your bone stops this time. So, yeah. So Waiso, welcome to the chat, and yeah, we have quite a few contributors today, and I think we should continue with Hamza Yusuf's. What do you call it?
Yeah, no, as a cheapskate, I'm quite happy that we're being able to use the premium StreamYard today.
Oh, perfect. All right.
He dies in 1274, and yet he's the doctor of the church. Just look at the number of times he quotes Muslims. I mean, he calls Averroes the commentator.
Wait,
so I think.
There. Sorry. Now you're making a distinction here. You're not exactly using Islam. It's Muslims themselves, like, and then that's where I kind of find that a lot of times there is this weird confusion between Muslims and Islam, the ideology. These two need to be seen as like separate entities because there were independent Muslim thoughts.
But it becomes a kind of complicated issue when you speak about, for example, Ibn Rushd and his commentary upon Aristotle and, for example, the prime mover, because there is a lot of overblend between
his. You can't claim it to be Islamic, especially like you have people like Razi, who's from the Islamic realm, but practically openly rejects Islam, but is claimed to be Islamic by historians and later writers because he just happens to be from there. But in reality, he actually rejected the religion. So there were many thinkers like that, even during that so quote unquote golden age, and even the golden age is
but in this case, he actually mentioned Averroes or Ibn Rushd, and he did combine kind of Aristotelian philosophy with his interpretation of Islam.
It's an interpretation because
you can't really separate them in this case. I'm just saying that in this case, let's give the devil his due.
Yeah, I wouldn't give the devil his due because keep in mind, like it's considered bid'ah in some, what do you call it?
Yeah, in some, but
it's actually considered bid'ah because considering the fact that you're using a non-prophet, a human, as philosophy, trying to improve your own, and God's final word and your prophet's final word is not good enough for you. So that's how it's seen in Islamic circles. So I wouldn't.
But the thing is that Ibn Rushd's view of Islam and his interpretation, because we need to be aware that there are different interpretations and traditions within Islam. Islam is not just one monolithic.
No, keep in mind, there are different interpretations, but it's the interpretation of the text, the hadiths, and the scripture.
Yeah, but you seem to think that there is just one interpretation of those texts. I mean, the thing is, even today, we have several madahib.
No, that's not what I think. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that there's only one interpretation. There is one text, one ultimate text.
Yes, one text. But there is, one. There is not one way to view that text still. It's still open, and I would still not say that you can absolutely 100% say that what Ibn Rushd did was bid'ah that easily without having.
It is considered in.
Yes, by many mainstream interpretations.
Many,
yes, but to say that it's kind of like saying that, Ismaili is Islam, or even if Ashari, even the Shia sect is not Islam because they are not the mainstream. That's the Sunni interpretation.
Technically, the Jafari is considered mainstream because it's one of the fifth school of thought.
Yeah,
Jafri is relatively considered mainstream because it's also not only the dominant Shia fiqh, that is.
yeah, but in
And
that case, you also have the traditions because Malik and the other
so there's
scholars
four,
that created the
Malik,
traditions actually took from him, from Jafar
yes,
as-Sadiq.
if anything, Jafar was the founder of Sharia practically.
Yes.
Imam Jafar bin Sadiq was the founder of Sharia. So, if anything, Jafari fiqh is practically birthing all of these fiqhs. So, to give to consider that that would be kind of what do you call it? Yeah, that would be kind of, I wouldn't say, crap. I forgot the word. There was this word in my mind. Crap, I forgot.
All I'm saying is that we shouldn't go around as non-believers and say you are not a true Muslim, or this guy that claimed that he was a Muslim and claimed that he based his ideology on the Quran or Islam, and say, oh, he wasn't true Islam.
Yeah, the thing here is that what my point is, there is this weird confusion between, what do you call it, attributing Islam to a number of Muslims and then just kind of claiming because it sounds good, and then just claiming it to be your own.
Yes, but I think there is a subtle difference in how we two approach it. You just say, oh, but Ibn Rushd wasn't Muslim. I say, oh, but he was not an orthodox Muslim in accordance with modern interpretations of Islam.
Say that again.
I would rather than saying that Ibn Rushd was not.
I haven't said that. I haven't said Ibn Rushd was not a Muslim. No.
Oh, all right.
Trying to say, I think you're misunderstanding. What I'm trying to say is, he's kind of separating the believer from the philosophy, right? Because the philosophy or the ideology. So the believer and the ideology kind of play different parts in in the approach. But I think we paused the video.
But my entire point was that you can't really separate Islam from his commentary. Ibn Rushd is kind of complex in that sense.
I mean, you do have a point, but at the same time, it's like,
But yeah, Culture Jenny, also just so you know, I put your channel in the chat. So if anyone's interested, they can click on the link and subscribe to Culture Jenny's channel.
Oh, thank you. You're awesome.
Yeah. No, check out his channel. Check out Culture Jenny's channel. It's actually got some good stuff. But yeah, I think let's continue because I'm just looking at the time right now. So yeah, let's continue.
Islam, one of the beauties of the religion to me is that you'll find whatever you're looking for in it. I mean, Islam,
marital rape, pedophilia, everything you want.
And this just played into what I said about Islam being so broad that you can pretty much justify and find everything within it.
Oh yeah, especially a lot of negative, a lot of brutal things too. It's like, oh boy. All right, let's continue. You can find
it has a very simple theology that anybody can understand in Surah Al-Ikhlas, the chapter that says, God is...
No.
That's why there exists so many interpretations and so many subsects.
It's like, no, it's not simple to understand. That's why we have God knows. I think Culture Jenny that there's God knows how many tafsirs there are. There's differences even within the fiqhs we were just discussing.
Yes.
Even within, for example, the Jafri fiqh, there's two different
Akhbari and Shaykhi.
Yes, so it's like there's even differences in ideas within that. The Usulis and the Akhbaris differ as well. So it's like, no, it's not simple to understand. It's actually
and don't even get me on the subdivisions within the Sunnis, because then I could do an entire rant about how Hanbalis are actually not one school but several
exactly.
divisions, and that we shouldn't draw a brush over all.
Oh, definitely. You can do an entire video on the Hanbali fiqh, and then you can even talk about the different.
I actually find Hanbal himself to be to have been actually a rather sympathetic individual.
Oh, I think he was executed, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was
executed.
because he stood up and said, "This is bull," and yeah,
Yeah, it's very
things.
complicated. His history, humble history, is very complicated. But yeah, let's continue.
Unique. God is completely independent. God neither gives birth nor was God born, and there's nothing like God. So it gives you a very simple theology that anybody can understand. And yet, embedded in that simplicity is extraordinary complexity that actually created a metaphysical tradition that Western scholars have spent their lifetime studying. People like Henri Corbin or somebody. It's like Maxime Rodinson.
But for the creation of such with an all-powerful deity and everything that he's claiming, can't any religion claim that?
Yeah, that's pretty much many religions have claimed the simplicity of the creator, but at the same time, I think his point was, to play devil's advocate this time, is that his point is more, I think, the Tawheed. That is because there's the Islamic concept of Tawheed, which is the oneness of God.
Yeah, the absolute monotheism.
Yeah, so it's like kind of the most absolutist in monotheism in terms of that. Like in comparison to, I think, let's just say Christianity, and there was, I think, the debate between hijab and
the only types of monotheism that comes close is the now extinct sect of Christianity known as the Aryan Christianity, and the Jewish sect of the Karaim, or the
Wait, so say that again. Hang on, I'm just gonna write this note down because this is something interesting you said. Just give me a second, because whenever you mention something, I should take a note. 1 second. Where's a pen when you need one? And there we go. So, what was the sect of Christianity you said?
The Aryans, the Aryan Christianity. They, for example, think that Jesus was God. They thought he was a man, and they are entirely unique. There existed other groups that thought this as well.
Yeah. And then the Jewish sect you said?
The Karaim, or those that read. They are pretty much a subsect that rejects the Talmud and says that they should only focus on what is written in.
So you said that these were purely monotheistic.
They had an extremely large focus upon destroying idols and the things.
Right. Okay. So
the Vandals were Aryans. They are called the Vandals because originally they were called the Vandals as a people. Then later, vandalism became destructive behavior because they were so obsessed with destroying any sort of picture of God, picture of Jesus, or anything. Because
they didn't like any depictions that is the Vandals.
No. If you depicted a thing, you would be, burned alive.
Wow.
They were like even more hardcore than most of the more extreme sects through Islamic history.
Yeah, I think because there's the like just showing Muhammad's picture, that is, it can cause, and even a harmless picture of Muhammad too can cause like such a uproar, that is. So yeah, this one's a bit way more insane, I would say. But yeah, it's thank you for this. Also, Nick, let's continue. We get caught up so much.
No, I love getting caught up. Just so you know, it's great to have these discussions.
Oh yeah, and Drastic, hello, Drastic, thank you.
Drastic measures. I paid for 10 people to come on, so if you want to come on, I don't want to waste your bandwidth.
Paid for 10 people to come on?
Oh no, we use StreamYard Premium just in case we do audience stuff, right? So it's up to 10 people.
That's true, yeah.
Not Maxime Rodinson, but the great Catholic theologian and metaphysician Jacques Maritain, recognized the genius of people like Al-Hallaj and things. So within the Islamic tradition, there's just an extraordinary spectrum. You can spend your entire life and have a satisfying life. And I know people that have done this, just mastering the recensions of the Quran and the qira'at, the actual oral expression of the Quran through the rules of tajweed. You can spend your life studying exegesis. You can spend your life studying prophetic tradition. You can spend your life studying the great mystics of Islam. We have the best poets in the world. We also have the best architecture.
But that's all subjective. That's subjective.
It's not only subjective.
My very subjective view is that he's actually not wrong, but that's just my view.
This is you. But yeah, it's like you
My
can't
wife is
blame
more
them.
beautiful than your wife.
Yeah. That's exactly what it's saying. My wife is more beautiful than your wife.
I mean, some mosques are truly breathtaking in their beauty.
The question would be: did they build it on their own, or just conquer it and put the sign on it, on top of it, right?
Yeah,
but like the architectural side as well, like
so, like
you can't say it's the best because then every culture has architecture, right? Angkor Wat or Egypt.
It's Mecca, right? And there's just a quarter, or what do they call it?
A cube.
A cube, right?
Yeah.
Breathtaking.
Breathtaking, beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, the surrounding.
Oh, the surrounding was built later, right?
Yes, but I mean, let's at least be a little bit honest that. I mean, it's sure this is entirely subjective, but I actually think that a lot of the Islamic architecture is very beautiful.
So I'm a graphic designer, and I love some patterns they developed. Right?
Yeah, like the Islamic patterns, right? Like
they are really beautiful. No question about that.
There's the mosque. If you even look at the what do you call it, the mausoleums of Hussein, which in Karbala and Ali's grave, that is how they've developed it. It's actually very beautiful design. And I think there's also what do you call it? There's that masjid.
Yeah, the Masjidul Najaf.
Masjidul Najaf. Oh well, again, yeah, that's the Grand Mosque of Najaf.
Sorry, Ali.
Yeah, but it's nothing compared to if you go to, for example, to Spain.
Right? Yeah, the Spanish one. Amazing.
And no, to churches, right? To real Christian. It's nothing compared to it. It's really
cathedrals. I think every civilization has its ups and downs, and every civilization has come up with some sort of architectural marvel. I think some of the cathedrals, some of the synagogues, some of the temples. Look at the pyramids. Look at the Thai temples. Look at what happened in Vietnam, in Japan. I mean, there's some wonderful stuff over there. I don't think you can put any one of these above the other. Everyone has their own significance. Everyone has their own sort of structure, and I think we should appreciate each one of them and not say, well, this is ours and it's the best. I don't think you can do that.
Yeah, that just made me think of the Aztec temple too, and I was like, yep, that's marvelous.
But I can tell you for sure that there is no Jewish temple, which is more beautiful than any other, because the temples are pretty simple.
Yeah.
Not the one at Budapest.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting is he said, there's people who spend their whole life studying exegesis and this and that, but really, if you listen to any type of Muslim scholar or anybody, they'll tell you, like, don't really study that unless you're a scholar. They'll tell you, like, unless you know the hadith science to show that some of these views are fabricated or daif or whatever, weak, because when you study tafsirs, you learn the original beliefs of what Muslims used to claim, and I don't know, man. It's like I get into arguments with Muslims about that constantly. Just the other day, about how the Quran in multiple places says the moon is light, and how it was a literal interpretation for centuries. And to this day, there's scholars that still teach that the moon emits its own light. That is, and then you show them, well, yeah, they say that because it says in Tabri that that there's hadith that the sun was created from Allah's throne, and that and that the moon was created from his footstool, and they'll just totally want to reject it. You know what I'm saying? But so I
Or
think
work around it. Yeah, what you're saying, they work around, because I think I remembered Zakir Naik himself mistranslated the Nur, and he said it was a reflected light in one of his
Yeah.
miracle claims. And I think it was debunked practically that when he said reflected, because he's just he's practically lying.
The point that I'm trying to make is I've never really came across.
Who's got the kids there?
It's me. I've never really came across really any type Muslim that really says, yeah, study, you know, with your limited knowledge of Islam, or even just a base knowledge of Islam, it's okay to really study the tafsirs, right? They don't want you to do that. Like, you can find the interview of Zakir Naik talking about Tabari and Kathir, and he's like, well, Tabari is the more experienced, scholarly, in-depth, and what he's essentially trying to say, and then he says that Kathir is like more the lay person, the commoner. What he's pretty much saying is Tabari said a bunch of shit, and a lot of it the scholars don't want you to know about. So go to Kathir, because Kathir has limited that bullshit down to the basic bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, the more accepted bullshit.
Yeah, it's funny too that you mention it, because I read of the Ibn Kathir text, and like this one gets it's also very complicated, and you know, it's this one also for even a layman, this one gets complicated. So I don't know why he's recommended Ibn Kathir for a layman, because that one's like looking at every single sentence, and you know, and this one practically like exposes, you know, the reasoning behind most of the commandments. So Ibn Kathir, in comparison, is more, you know, detailed. Tabari, on the other hand, I found that he's more of a historian rather than a, you know, he's trying to put in history in it.
But Mus, what is the value in all of this? He says you can study all these different aspects of Islam, but what really is the value of looking at all these things? I know that there are people who are studying Star Wars, all the different Jedi generations and things like that. But where exactly is the value? I don't see the value of studying anything in Islam, because I mean, I went through years and years of trying to, you know, because I thought there's going to be more, and the deeper I went, the more I realized there's nothing there. It's just as I might as well have been looking at fairy tales, because that is all that I'm getting at the end of the day. And I was so disappointed, you know, when I started looking at this and I started digging deeper, you know, that it just stays like that. And I thought, so what is the value of anyone becoming a scholar in Islam and learning all these things? For what? What can you do with this knowledge? What can you do with all this stuff in your brain? You can't do anything.
I mean, I think we all agree here that Islam is not the real religion or the truth.
But exactly. So what is the point? I can understand somebody going into the Jedi's because it's fun, but Islam is not even that. So I don't know what
I
the
think
point is.
it's actually fun and very interesting to look at it from an historical and cultural perspective. Yes.
But you don't know what is there. You don't know what is true and what is not. I mean, every time I hear an opinion and I go and check it, I find
I've been studying
wrong.
this for, you know, master's degrees and stuff.
Well, keep in mind also there's the fact that once you're a scholar, your scholarly opinion like matters, right? You become that scholar. There's that prestige with it. But also, I think in the value in at least the value I find is that it kind of exposes the different myths of how humans think. That's for me. It is. That's how humans think.
Exactly.
That's the only benefit
And I mean,
is how humans
studying
think.
Islam as you know, I'm not studying it from an inside perspective as those scholars that you are mentioning, or they're studying it to learn, you know, the religion and get closer to God, or to use it as a, you know, means of as a, you know, vocation, as you know, to spread the word or so. I'm looking at Islam from the outside, but I would still say that it's still kind of important to have some religious knowledge in order to understand society and understand history about society.
Ginny, I agree with you. But the thing is, if you go in and you become a scholar of, I don't know, Cinderella or something, and you start discussing the number of spokes on the magic chariot, I think then it becomes a bit silly.
Yeah. And
but one thing I think is very interesting that is almost on that level is the discussion about the throne of God.
Yeah.
Because there is an entire tradition about discussing that. And it's fascinating, really.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, but only from the point of view that it's a fairy tale, not from you know, any kind of moral code or any kind of impact on the real life. This is my point.
But it did have a lot of impact on real life.
It did, absolutely, but not today.
Not today, but it's...
Or it shouldn't, I should say.
Well, it stops. It still influences people to this day.
That's what I'm saying. It shouldn't. Yeah, you're right.
It shouldn't, but it still does. That's the ironic thing. That's the irony of it, is that, you know, there are still people who actually think this is all literal. This is real. So it's there was I think I had an argument with not an argument, but a debate with a Muslim. I think it was over like how don't yawn because the devil goes inside your mouth. And then I said, why would you, like, you know, why would he go in from inside the mouth? And then this Muslim tried to make this argument that, no, he goes from the wings. He's a different creature. And I just kept laughing at that. It's getting sillier. Every explanation of it is getting sillier. He ends it with saying, I find it, I'm quoting this person, I find it disturbing, you find it funny. So he found it creepy. He finds it creepy that I found this stuff funny. That the Satan going inside the mouth, and I, like, you know, he was. That's why we look into this.
Yes,
stuff.
Because if you literally believe in Islam and believe in these things, then it is creepy that you are laughing.
It gets very, like, you know, this is where we have, and I think.
This is also kind of why I'm actually a little bit against memeing and making fun of Islam.
No, I like making fun of it. You can make fun of it.
Because I actually think that it's better to, you know, confront believers with, you know, as unemotionally agitating as possible and just say, this is the evidence. I'm actually repeating this seriously because it is, to a Muslim, this is a matter of eternal torment.
No, keep in mind, though, even just like mockery itself is punishable by death. Even mockery itself. So this is why I use mockery as a form of, you know, comedy is a form of deconstruction. That's why we have comedies and we listen to comedians, because they are deconstructing society in a way. They're making fun of the dark side of things. And yes, this is productive. It is very productive to be able to laugh at things.
But might I make a point about how I think that Christianity kind of became much more soft than it was in the past? And that is not through mockery. I think it actually became so through people that could actually argue in a more, you know...
Well, obviously, but also it became permissible to even make jokes about Jesus.
Yes, but it did become permissible because people began to realize, when people began to argue, that this might not be the best way to act in accordance with the religion, or maybe we shouldn't go this far. And those arguments were not made.
But keep in mind, that's just being apologetic for, like, you know, people's feelings, because let's be real, it's people's feelings.
I'm not apologetic. I'm not saying that it's good to be, you know, ruled by your feelings, but I am saying that the people that you meet and when you argue these things are going to be ruled.
Yeah, and they're going to rule, so that's the worst you're going to get from me.
Even worse.
The worst they're gonna get from me is mockery. The worst they're gonna get from me is me making fun of them.
Yes,
And
but
that's the worst it's gonna get.
the question is not if you should have a right to do mockery. I entirely support it.
And I kind of find it more productive to be mockery, because mockery is productive.
All right, because
does-
I don't
Yeah,
find
Jay,
mockery.
guys.
Anyway, let's go on.
We're diverting from the video itself.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, there's nothing like the Taj Mahal or the Alhambra Palace. And even Western architecture, if you read
But isn't the Taj Mahal Indian architecture?
It is also Islamic too, because Shah Jahan was a Muslim ruler, right? So during Shah Jahan's time, he dedicated it to his wife, but also it was a mosque technically, how it was originally built. So it is kind of a mosque of itself, like the design itself.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was built by a Muslim ruler. So I think he can make that claim.
Yeah, but there's only one Notre Dame. There's only one Eiffel Tower. There's only one, there's a lot of these things. So what?
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, you can make that argument for the Eiffel Tower as well.
Yeah. All right.
Stealing from the Saracens, she shows how some of the finest Western architecture was basically taken from the Islamic civilization, including Notre Dame in Paris. So
and
we can
and
find
Islamic
incredible- I know
architecture was
people-
taken from the Byzantines largely.
The prophet.
I mean, this is natural that you take inspiration or take techniques from other civilizations to make your own. This happened by the Romans taking from the Greeks before. I mean, every civilization has done this. This is not, limited to just the West taken from Islamic. Islamic civilization has done the same.
Yeah, and I think Islamic civilization took from pre-Islamic Arabia as well, and Ethiopia. We were just discussing Ethiopia as the south, as well as the Persians as well too.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of like Zoroastrian, Persian. I would say not Persian, Iranian influence. That is. So it's it's nothing special really. All right, let's continue.
All right, let's play
that
here.
just came to Islam through music. I mean, I know some
Music Haram.
really professional musicians that fell in love with Arabic music, which led them into Muslim culture.
Which is very ironic, thinking about the fact that music in many traditions of Islam is considered haram.
Yeah, and not only that, the what do you call it? Musical instruments are seen as the work of the devil. That is.
To be honest, it's not every tradition, and you could actually make coherent arguments that it's not.
It's
forbidden.
I think you can do nasheeds. There's the nasheeds. There's the in the Shia Muslim traditions. There's also like the there is some like during the morning ceremonies, that is when they're the chest beating. There's also the drums in the past as well. There is some leeway in what do you call it? In I think some fiqh, some ideologies, there is some leeway if its purpose is to like praise God.
Yes.
There are some scholars who see Dawood singing as holy. Like some scholars can make that argument as well. So that's so it's kind of weird, but generally, the general consensus is from the outside is it's haram.
All right,
right, let's
so I'm going
continue.
to play this. Yeah.
People that
And there's been, but here's the
love.
thing. What argument does that make, bro? Think of it like there's people who listen to American rock band Creed and then became Christian. So what the hell does that have to do with anything?
Oh, even Skillet. Skillet is a rock band, and it's an evangelical rock band, Christian rock. That's their. I listen to Skillet. I have not converted to Christianity to this day.
And to the architecture argument, like, so originally the Arabian people lived in tents. So when they went out and they saw other people having buildings, they instantly had to build a building from the other people.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
they didn't live. They weren't all of the Bedouins. They were actually a lot more complex. They had cities. They had, actually rather complex, cities
Dude, they
even
did not have
before.
two-story buildings. Like like at best they didn't.
Have you
It's not like they had created the concept of foundation, right? They you can even look in the stories about when they built the mosque that was the first mosque that was Muhammad's home. All they did was flatten out the land and then start building mud houses. They didn't like a mud building that was 1 story high. We're talking about real buildings here. You can't like yes, you of course
have you
we would
seen
say
the
of course
ancient
we could say thank you for letting me finish. I appreciate that. Of course we could say that a 1 story building, a structure is architecture, but nobody would really use that as a concept of architecture. This is not saying like building a doghouse is architecture. What the point that I'm making is they had no concept inside of the Arabian Peninsula in the 7th century of double-story buildings, 3-story buildings at all. They didn't understand the concept of real agriculture, which is laying the foundation, right? Center polling, trying to make sure that the
that is
building
just not
itself was
true.
secure.
They had even, even in Yemen, and we have even found archaeological evidence more north than that of multi-story mud houses. You can even look
Where
at
is
pictures.
it?
There exist even modern day, versions of these houses in Yemen. And you can actually look at them, and we know that these were actually built even before in pre-Islamic times. So that's not true at all.
No, I would love to see your evidence for that, my guy. Because
Right,
I can say stuff too, but for one, I love how you're like they don't really allow a lot archaeological excavations in most of Arabia for different reasons. So just
no,
be like
that's
point
not.
at some old mud houses and be like, yeah, we know for sure that was there before Islam. Like, come on, dude, that's not how a rational, critical-minded person thinks. It's not just, oh, well, the Arabians have a story that this
But we
house,
know that
this
the southern Germany had, and we have found also similar up in
okay,
Jordan.
find me one source because I've read a lot of Islamic sources, Tabari historical. I've read, Kathir. I've read multiple Islamic sources, and never have they mentioned a 2-story building, my guy.
No, I don't talk about those. I'm just saying that it was not completely foreign, or shouldn't be to them during that time.
So
It's just that they
that's
might
the
not have
point.
mentioned it.
The point is, it was foreign to them, right? It shouldn't have been. I would agree. The rest of the world had architectural buildings and structures that, for 3,000 years beforehand, they had the pyramids, right? So yeah,
Yeah,
there's reasons but my point is when he's talking about Islamic architecture, they had to learn architecture from the rest of the world because they did not know anything about it. That was the point.
I would say that they had architecture, but the classical Islamic architecture is mostly taken from the Byzantine and improved upon from there. It's
Okay,
not.
well, I'll
Not the
stop
local.
and I'll just wait for any source material of a 2-story building that you could find for me in Arabia.
I think he's not like he at least. I think both of you guys kind of are actually agreeing upon is that this was nothing new to them as a people's status as the earlier, assuming that Muslims and
and most
Think of it this way:
but in
the stories of
hey guys, in the words of drastic measures, the video, don't make me come in there. Yeah.
I think
just think of it this way in the counter argument of what this other guy is saying. They've been trading with Jerusalem for centuries. The stories of Muhammad going to the Levant. So he is seeing multiple story buildings, right? Not super tall, but 3-story buildings at the time. He's seeing this, and they still haven't figured out a way to incorporate it into Arabia. Think of that.
That's kind of my point. I don't think that it was not that they haven't figured out. It's just that they don't mention it. Because
Dude,
you know,
they mention every small detail in Islamic history that they can, right? They even tried to place parts of the Quran into the battles of Yuba, right? With about people coming and the elephants and the bird. They tried to utilize every small detail. But what I'm saying is you don't see historically any of the claims that you even claimed that there's houses in Genema or whatever, that city. You're saying that there are mud houses that are 2 stories high that you even said there's no archaeological evidence, but they know that it's there before Islam. That's not a rational argument against what I'm saying.
no,
right?
what I'm saying is that the thing is that just because they didn't mention it doesn't mean that they didn't know about it, or that they didn't have knowledge. It's just that they
I never
didn't
said
mention.
they didn't have knowledge, right? I didn't say that they didn't know that it exists. What I'm saying is for them to start building, these houses, they gained the architectural knowledge, obviously, from other places. Because the other places already had it while they were living in tents and building mud huts with roofs that were just made out of palm leaves. They weren't having roofs that were really dedicated. They weren't having roofs that were dedicated from actual material other than dead material. That's the point. That's the point, dude. How did they have? Here's a question. How did they have multiple story buildings, right? 2-story buildings, if they didn't even have roofs, solid roofs? Think of that. They didn't even have a solid roof. The first masjid, right? Every house you hear about had dead palm leaves, dude.
All right, let's play the video. Let's
proceed with the.
One of the most interesting things about Islam is it is a truly universal religion in that you can go from Indonesia to California and find all of these different expressions of the same central truths of Islam with their own local colorings. So the West African Muslims are not like the Middle Eastern Muslims. The Middle Eastern Muslims are not like the Indian Muslims. And you have people like, one of the great Impressionist painters of Sweden. I think he's actually considered a national treasure in Sweden, but his paintings hang in the museum there. He became Muslim in jail for actually he shot a matador because he was raised by his father was a veterinarian, and he shot a matador because he was so horrified that they were bringing bullfighting into France. And there was such an uproar that they actually released him. But when he was in jail, he befriended an Algerian who used to recite Quran all the time. And he ended up becoming Muslim and then studying in Egypt and then going back to his native land. He died in Spain, but extraordinary individual. So you have people like that. You have people that anybody can find what they're looking for. And that is the power of.
Was that him supporting the extremist Norwegian prison system of Islam? Everybody knows that that European Islamic prisoners are some of the most extreme people in the world. They had to introduce programs that tried to de-radicalize these prisoners. So it seems yeah, you never heard that. You don't know that. It's failed in England. It's really ridiculous how England even talks about it.
And just for what Culture Jenny brought up, there's no conflict here. It's just a discussion here.
Yeah,
you like that convo?
Yeah, it's just we were just listening to their both points, and they're both making good points. But yeah, it's very surprising that you mentioned the prisoners, that is. So do you have?
Oh, it's not thinking it's why so.
Oh, why? Yeah. Sorry. Why so?
What's
But
up?
yeah. So basically, you were saying that about prisoners, the programs. Sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt.
So they're trying to de-radicalize the prisoners. You got to think like a lot of the in these European countries, they don't even want to give ethnic background or details of criminals anymore, right? They've even started, if it's Sweden, I'm not mistaken, they've started doing like anonymous grenade drop-off days where you can get amnesty for dropping off explosive materials. So they're like changing the
Yes,
culture.
that's true.
So
Wow.
these people who are inside of the prisons that are Muslim are one of the most extremist people in the world, right? Like, no joke. You also have to use another example. It's a different country, but France has actually outlawed going to like Morocco and Algeria, the country that this guy said, to learn Islam. They have started
Really?
making it where you can't go there to learn Islam because these places teach what would be considered the most extreme. But I just think it's interesting. This guy is using an example of a guy who stabbed somebody, tried to kill them, and then got sent to a very extreme version of Islam. And is like, there you go. There's who you should learn Islam from. The Algerian,
Wow.
the Algerian extremist inside of Norway. I think that's very unique.
Yeah, and it's drastic. You say grenade drop off. Yeah, it sounds like a dangerous car boot. And yeah, even the government admit UK prisons are a breeding ground for fanatical Islamists. And it's funny too. Like I get ads on Facebook where the female prisons don't have hijab, female prisoners don't have hijabs, or our male prisoners don't have access to prayer mats. We want your donations, and these are from Muhammad Hijab's what do you call it? Charities.
Yeah,
so to
God.
speak.
Yeah, their God is all powerful, all knowing, omnipotent, but he's not good with money. That's the only thing.
Yeah, it's
He
no,
needs
it's
my
true that
help too. Yeah, he needs
it's
my
funny
help
too. Now you
to.
guys mentioned this, the extremists in the prisons, and then they're on the other end. I'm getting Facebook ads for asking donations to help prisoners convert to Islam. It's like, whoa, this is some big interesting game going on here.
Yeah,
So
let me play the video. So
yes, let's continue.
The faith, I think, is that it is truly a universal faith. And I think one of the things that Western people tend to do, one, they don't recognize that it's a Western faith because it is. It's part of the Abrahamic faith. It was in Spain for centuries. It's been in Eastern Europe for centuries.
Okay, pause. Sorry.
yeah, it was brought there in defensive wars.
Yeah, no, and keep in mind, I kind of find this. I know these faiths grew in the West, but it's like these are kind of Middle Eastern faiths, all of them, technically speaking. Like their birthplace is in Palestine, Jerusalem, Israel. So I wouldn't necessarily call them Western faiths. Culture, Ginny, you have something to say?
Not really. More that technically, Tariq and his war band were actually invited to help one of the pretenders to the Visigothic throne. It was just they stayed afterwards.
Yeah, it was. It was, and the Spain, like the Umayyads, did reach France for sure, like the borders.
Yes, and fought against Charles Martel.
Yeah, I think this was before the Abbasid Civil War. This was before.
Yes, it was.
And they weren't able to keep their foothold for too long. Then it was mostly like in Europe. I think it was just more of the Amrat of Al-Andalus.
I must say that I'm actually not that focused in, or was not that focused in my studies on the Maghreb region and Al-Andalus. It was, for me, it was always the Mashriq, the East.
The East, yeah. And I feel like when he says these are Western religions, technically, even a general, they're technically not, because they're from that area, the same area. Islam, Christianity, and Judaism have within that area, it's a similar birthplace status.
Yeah.
So it's kind of unfair. I don't like the system when they say it's a Western religion. It's technically not. So it's still an Eastern religion, so to speak. It just expanded towards the West.
To be honest, Eastern Christianity, or there are actually some things that did change rather drastically when the Romans adopted Christianity. They did modify it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That and I think it was the assistance of the empire that kind of helped them expand towards the West.
All right, we only got like a minute left in here.
Yeah. Let's finish this.
And even Istanbul, which is the great capital of Islam for centuries, is half in Europe and half in the East. And that's why it really bridges these two worlds. And so there's so much. I mean,
this is part of the reason why I think it makes sense for religious people, Christians, Jews, and Islamic alike, to focus on their commonalities in the face of the things that are disintegrating our cultures. We could start by trying to make some peace between us if we're going to consort ourselves reasonably as religious individuals.
And is that everything in the video? Nick? Hello? All right.
So sorry, my thing got. Yeah, that's the video itself.
Oh, okay, so that's like a short. That was the short clip. Yeah, 7 minutes. Yeah. We've still got like an hour and a half of discussion. So this would definitely be. What do you call it? It was an interesting.
I also got. Yeah, I also have another video. Stops left. Stops was shown mercy from this last time. So now that he's on, I want to play this so you can also feel the pain that Moose and I did when we watched the first one.
Oh no! What did we? I know we discussed a lot. What pain?
So this is also this is the same guy that did that spoken word, and now they redid it to like a cover of a song.
Oh no!
Yeah, so it's like I found it, and I'm like, this is the most haram thing that's possible. So I gotta like, as the atheist kuffars, we gotta play this on the channel.
Yeah. All right. Let's torture ourselves.
Yeah, you remember that guy, right?
Yeah. Muslim cover?
Young boy claims that it's hard to maintain because he gets discriminated due to race, and this young.
Sorry, Drastic. Yes. Sorry. I know we were gonna get like more Islamic rap. No, I know we got. Did we cover Farik Naik by chance from Zakir Naik's son's old rap?
Yeah, that was the first one.
Oh no! But is it at least okay? At least it has some music in it. Okay, at least it's somewhat better. All right, let's continue.
Girl says they don't judge her by her brain, too busy looking at her body and her face. Let's talk about life.
Yeah, Islam fixes all that.
Let's talk about love. If we talk about love, then we should talk about us. And if we're talking about us, we need to talk about growth. They talk about you, but they should talk about both. It's easier to hate now and harder to care. We used to offer help, now we gossip and stare. Comment, like, swipe, share. Hate used to be rare, now you see it everywhere. Man wants to be radical and take away life.
Moose, what's your opinion so far?
I don't. This is just, it's bizarre. Yeah, it's very bizarre. But I think I'm like also thinking, wait, isn't this haram? Isn't this haram?
No instruments were harmed.
No instruments were harmed so far, but only the voice.
It's terrible. I mean, it's really atrocious. No. It's always the same. I mean, what the fuck?
You forgot to add in oppression, oppression, Muslims. Like, there you
go. Yeah. What?
I have a theory that Muslims have to be oppressed. That their theology calls them to be oppressed, and that's why.
Yeah, I've seen the similarity with even with both like mostly with the Christian Islamic circles. There may be, but I've seen this with like they, even though they're in the position of power, they're yet how somehow oppressed. Like you're in the majority, yet you're oppressed for some reason.
Yeah, no. For me, at least, like in bullshit like this, it kind of reminds me of Bollywood music.
Oh, does it?
It is a way. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, because like the way I think about it is like when they'll do like a song, the fucking guy and the girl will run around a tree and fucking kiss all over the body when a 10-second kiss on the lips will do. Same thing here, they'll fucking torture us with this like oral mouth bullshit, but won't play a saxophone or something.
Yeah. I just and there's also like the that the multiple voices going in the background too. Those kind of videos where I think remember that guy who was gish galloping, who was just speaking and then he was just crying in the middle of the video.
Oh yeah, no, he's in this video as well.
Oh no.
Well, I don't trust any person who claims to be Muslim if I can grow my beard in a month as long as theirs. You know what I'm saying? Like this guy is obviously like
My
a trimmer
beard is
of
longer than
beards,
this
and I
dude.
do not accept that.
Wait, Ginny, you said something. I heard a
My
Ginny
beard
voice.
is longer than this dude's beard. I mean, I'm not joking. It is. You would
Alright,
actually,
let's play-
if you met me
Yeah.
in real life, you would probably assume that I was some sort of Salafi.
All right, let's play the song. Let's play the song.
All right,
Let's
go.
not.
Behaving like
We
an
played
animal,
enough.
you see it in his eyes. Load up his weapon, walk in, aim. 51 body count like a computer game. And we wanna share the video to what entertain. Lost in the crowd, watching life on the stage. It's a terrible state. Yesterday was heartbreak. Today she's back on YouTube putting makeup on her face. And the men are all the same. But I don't come.
This is
Why is this guy
embarrassing.
ranting
They
about-
could have just used. I'm still feeling they could have just used some instruments to make this better. This would have been,
This is the tragic part of the song because he put his hood up, so it's the tragic part of the song.
Yeah,
Just so you know.
And Doorknob also is bragging about his beard, just like Culture Ginny. It's like, my beard is longer than this dude's torso.
Yeah,
So
no,
what is this,
my
a
beard's
beard
longer
showing
than
off
this guy's.
contest? Okay, what is this? A beard showing off contest?
Yeah, my beard's longer than this dude's.
All right, let's continue with this video.
Play.
no,
We don't help
why?
each other, we the slander and shame.
You need to feel the torture stops.
What is the point of this? Come on.
Well,
This is horrific. What is it supposed to do? Does this make a Muslim feel better, or does it make a non-Muslim feel worse, or what's the point?
this is to convert us to Islam.
All right. If I hear this, now I'm going to start falling on my knees and praying and banging my head on the floor 5 times a day. Come on, please.
Well, technically, you're banging your head twice. Well, actually, how many rakats? Each rakat, you're banging your head twice. So it's like a number of rakats 5 times. It's technically, if you do the math, at least you're doing it. I think I'm just counting the bare minimum. If you're doing the journey version, you're doing 10 into at least 20 plus times, at least. Stops 20 plus, I would say.
What, in a week or what?
Oh, no, in a day.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so it's not 5. It's actually more than 20 times.
This guy is talking about when Sunnis kill Shias and Shias kill Sunnis, right? That's what the song's about. Oh, my bad.
Oh no,
I didn't realize.
Are you listening to the words?
All right, let's continue.
Do something good, they forget about your name. When you do something bad, watch how fast you find fame. Inside the body, there's a piece of flesh. If this flesh is good, then also is the rest. Verily, it is the heart. What a life y'all lost. Sitting here wishing that I could press restart. People killing, people dying, shooting, hurt, and you hear them cry.
Oh my god, it's like fucking one of those ads on YouTube's, man.
Oh yeah, it's like, okay, let's examine who's killing who. Let's uncover that story, shall we?
Yeah, people from that region of the planet are more than happy to come here. But why are journalists so scared to go there?
Well,
It's
not
like,
only that, there's also the Shia Sunni conflict too, right? Like with the especially like the bombings or the shootings in the mosques mostly happen from what do you call it, Sunni radicals attacking Shia mosques, that is, or Ahmadi mosques. So it's pretty bizarre. Like, you know, they kind of not addressed that in the song. So
yeah, no, this is considered like race. He even said it's like racism and bullshit, right? Like it.
yeah, there
But
is. I
I
think
thought Islam is a religion, not a race.
yeah, Haris Sultan brought this up too. Like, he feels that a lot of extremist Islamic elements, or at least a lot of Muslim, have kind of, you know, hijacked the BLM or the Black Lives Matter movement. That, you know, they're trying to merge the two together. So
All right.
yeah,
Yeah, Moose, let's play the video and we'll get it over with and have a discussion.
all right.
Do you practice what you preach, or do you turn the other cheek?
Oh, that kind of looks like what they give us in Niagara Falls for the Made of the Mist.
Oh yeah. They give us in the Made of the Mist.
Allah, help us, send us guidance from above, 'cause people got me.
Jesus fuck! Can't you just have like a? This guy's the best preacher on the planet. Every time I hear his voice, I want to yell Jesus.
All right. Oh,
Questioning, where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love?
Quite ironically, I can say the same shit. I can say the same shit in religious communities, or at least Muslim communities.
yeah.
Oh, look, there's Aisha.
Oh no. No. Oh no. No. I knew we were gonna go there. All right. Nim, no. Stop rapping, Nim Grace. Stop rapping right there. Oh my goodness. All right. You, our audience, and also the panel, you're all horrible. Is this the map? Come on now, guys. Come on now. All right, let's continue. Please, let's continue.
Don't you put it on double speed or something?
Yeah, put it on double speed.
What happened to the love and what happened to the peace?
Oh, him.
Oh,
You remember this guy?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Oh yeah, and then yeah, astaghfirullah. Al-Haza. Yeah. I agree. I agree. Astaghfirullah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's this guy that's like.
We got wars in the streets and wars in the Middle East. Gunshots, bombs drop, people flee, and now we have millions of refugees that are scattered overseas. And our
Yo, what the hell is this guy? They're such victim.
Yeah, let's
Professional victims.
No, keep playing.
become numb to the tragedies as we add another number to the casualties. Another kid gets stripped from his family. I'm asking myself what has happened to humanity, and they want to talk to us about terrorism despite the killings by the far right and white supremacism. But I guess all that is irrelevant to the president of the USA who wants to make America great.
Wait, is he referring to all of us?
Oh no, this is referring to Donald Trump.
Oh.
Yeah, he actually made a Donald Trump reference.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is painfully bad.
Even this guy's like, yo, what the hell?
All right, let's go.
Never done was make America hate, and gun crimes at its highest ever rate. Mosques get shot and schools get sprayed. Then nothing's gonna change when politicians are paid by the NRA, and we wonder why they're so corrupt. But it's okay, cause in God we trust, and even if it's all we got everything we need. As the prophet told us, you will never enter paradise until you believe, and you will never believe until you start to love. And in order to love, you need to spread the peace. We need some peace and quiet in this world. So tired of the fighting and the wars. Put the knives down, put the guns down. Stop the mothers crying cause the child's gone now. Stop the killing cause nobody's
fuck.
winning. Can we stop the...
Why are they
Yeah,
showing like that?
I agree with the Sharia law sign, though. I agree with the Sharia law sign, unfortunately. I know the intention behind it is, bigoted and, stupid, but I kind of partially agree with the sign. It's weird.
Sinning. People killing, people dying, shooting, hurt, and you hear them crying. Do you...
Isn't that line based off of the marriage?
Don't stop this all the time. Get on with it. Get through it so we can finish this.
Allah help us and His guidance from above. Cause people got me questioning. Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? The love. Too comfortable with the way that we live in. We forget about the orphanage children. Poverty a weapon doing all the killing. Desensitized is a way that we feeling. Being silent is a form of abuse. When my people end up dead on the news. Television telling lies in disguise of the truth. Make a difference with these words is my oath in the booth. Yeah. Never divide, gotta unite against insane. Leaving mosque and body bags and headed straight to heaven's gates. Trying to survive, victim of oppressor, choose a side. Aiming for the physical, but never gonna kill the faith. Our legacy gon' live forever. If one of us is cold, we gon' land the sweater. Feet to feet, stand strong, 10 toes on the carpet. Though we ain't blood, break bread if you starving. Where was the love for the villages in Mali? Selected what you wanted, so we see through your sorries. Assimilating to the system, standing for what's right, left, Ilhan, ridicule just cause she's a hijabi. Haven't forgot about the families in Palestine. Rohingyas getting burned alive in Burma. Muslims put in concentration camps in China. These situations that you probably never heard of. Islam the fastest growing religion. White supremacists playing a part of spreading the message. If we all how we portray, then everybody be finished. I'll set the record like Guinness, never framing our image. People killing, people dying, shooting, hurt, and you hear them crying. Do you practice?
All right, this guy can fuck off. I don't want to listen to him anymore.
Yeah.
Oh,
When he
thank
said Islam
God.
is the fastest growing religion, it's like, oh no, of course they're gonna put it in there.
Now
Yeah.
Burma is rhyming with China. Come on.
Yeah, it's like it's so. I know. I'm glad they mentioned the China, but like when they kind of say that, oh, the hijabis made fun of, but then they kind of equate it to Palestine. It's like, no, they're not the same issue. It's two different issues. With
I just know the only thing I was doing is I was trying to guess what the word was going to be that they're going to rhyme it with. And there I must admit they did surprise me a couple of times because I was wrong.
Wow. Yeah. No. It's what did I just see? What did I just see? And it's like especially the ending lyrics too, like Islam being the fastest growing religion, of victim playing with the hijab. It's like you kind of forgot that hijab is actually a very oppressive tool in many. It practically, like even Iran, it's by law, it's enforced. That is, and then you have what do you call it in Muslim circles too. It's quite it's not a choice exactly. And I think
a lot of people don't realize that it's actually a political statement. It's not just a piece of clothing. It's a symbol. And a lot of people just think, well, it's a woman's choice. No, it is not. And this is why I always get so pissed off when people tell me, well, who are you to tell women what to wear? When we're talking about the ban of the burkini now and things like that. I think you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what my issue is. You don't know why I am against it and why I want to ban this. It's not about the choice that women have.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
and I think that when we focus upon the symbols of Islam, we are getting diverted away from the real issues at hand. And it's attacking symbols is, it's not the same as actually attacking the fundamental arguments. It becomes a tit for tat that does not actually change things. So I think it's better to rather focus upon the core issues of Islamic legalism and discussing theology
But
rather than
keep in mind, hijab
banning.
is part of the legal system, though, but Islamically speaking.
Yes,
Part
it
of
is.
the it's actually like mandatory, and not only that, there are countless descriptions, like how it's punishable if it's not worn. So it is actually part and parcel of the legal system
Yes,
of
but we are
Islam, and
talking
it's a
about
very
banning it in the West, are we not?
we're caught up in that. We're not, yeah, and that's where I think it's just like
I
that's not gonna
I
happen.
don't feel really comfortable with banning religious expression in Western countries,
Yeah,
even if
It's not religious. This is my point. It's not religious.
it
And I think this
is.
is no, it's not. This is what Musa is saying as well. This is Sharia. This is every time I see this, I know that it's a statement saying Islam and with it Sharia is winning. This is the statement. This is what the
Yeah,
hijab is doing.
but they could say the same with a placard. We are winning. We are winning. We are taking over. But
Exactly.
the correct way to combat this is with words and using our free speech, because we still have it somewhat in the West.
No,
And
we
keep in
don't.
mind,
We're not
it's
allowed to anymore. A journalist in Germany is being sent to jail just because he criticized Islam. Come on. Where's the free
really
speech?
Yeah, and it was there also happened, one was fined because he was criticizing the call to prayer for being too loud in Sweden a
and
couple
I
of years.
think Gada was an
Yeah.
ex-Muslim. I think she was part of the ex-Muslims of North America. She did an entire story. Her and like I think two of her
All right. Yeah.
partners did a good story on like how the hijab is actually like it's like girls are actually practically tortured because of this stuff. So this is like a means of abuse. It opens
Yes,
to
but
abuse.
yes,
And
but
All right,
as
guys. We're almost at the 1 or 2 hour mark. So what we'll do now is we'll take this. We're at the beginning of a new topic, right? So we'll take Discord, and we'll go around and say our last concluding words, because like I want to have like a brand new topic that we start off in like 7 minutes.
Yeah. So I think it's we are in the last 8 minutes. I wanted to do the historical writings of mentioning Muhammad, but I think we'll do that next week. Then we'll do that because we don't have a lot of time. So we'll do that next week, because I think that would be too much for the brain power to handle. I think there's a lot of things, but let's start.
We'll start with Cultured Ginny. Thank you for coming on again. If you want to say your closing statement, and we'll go around.
Yeah,
I would just say that I've gotten through this last song. I've gotten a new appreciation for those that claim that music is haram.
Oh boy, this is beautiful. Why so? Why so you there?
Because this was like hell in musical form.
No, sorry. Cultured. Yeah, you were saying this is hell in music.
This is hell in musical form. Yes,
definitely. And now, why so your finishing statements?
I don't really have any.
All right, no worries. And stops. Croc's gun. Any last words?
Please, no more music. Okay, no, but Nim just asked about this journalist. Okay, this is just somebody who, in public, is discussing Islam, and he's pointing out things that are wrong in Sharia. He says, we're not about the religion. We're not talking about religion. We're not talking about Muslims. We're not talking about the people. We're talking about the ideology. We're talking about what Islam stands for. We're talking about the cooperation between Islam and the Nazis 80 years ago. We're talking about anti-Semitism. We're talking about things that come, part and parcel of Islam. And he's pointing it out. And of course, Muslims didn't like it. And another guy, exactly. And a policeman actually went and started the process. And he went and filed charges, pressed charges, and he went to court thinking that he was going to obviously, this would just be quashed. No, the judge said, This is denigrating. You are insulting Muslims, and therefore you need to go to jail. It's crazy, absolutely crazy.
Oh, this is practically insane. It's crap. I actually did not know that this was it is idiotic. Yeah, it's practically idiotic. I'll just wrap it up by saying thank you guys so much for joining us. We not only covered Hamza Yusuf, we had some interesting discussions in the middle, and there was a 7-minute video, and we technically just reviewed 11 minutes of our time. But we had interesting discussions in the middle. Thank you, Ginny. Thank you, Wiso. Thank you, Stops. Thank you, Nick. And yes, this is Sparta, not just idiotic. And Nick, last words.
From me, I apologize for killing you all with cringe, but I nearly died of cringe, so I had to make sure you all shared in my pain.
Well, we'll kill. I'll send you and Stops more stuff over the week if I find any cringeworthy stuff too. Again, I'm trying to think of something, but you just happen to fall into anything. That is, where are you getting this from?
I have my sources.
All right, thank you so much, guys. Thank you, and I think we should head off to Discord then.
Yep, we'll see you there.
We'll see you at Discord.
Yeah, see you on Discord.
Cheery, bye. Thank you very much.
Hello, thank you.
And thanks for the chat.
Thank you for hosting me.
With all the nice discussions you guys had. It was entertaining too.
Yeah, indeed.
For sure. Culture Jenny, join us in the Discord as well. I don't think you came in last week, right? Yeah. Yeah, if you come into the voice chat, we can talk on there, and it's unrecorded.
Yeah.
All right, see you guys.
Discord.